What do you think made the difference for them?
Well, I think they got going a little bit after we had that initial stretch, jumped up to a little bit of a lead. I think we felt a little bit of comfort. We thought we were okay, and then they obviously got going. Didn't seem to have the same level of intensity as the other night, but to our guys' credit, they kept playing. Down 15 with 2:15 left, able to just extend the game as best we could, and give ourselves a chance.
53 three-point attempts is a lot. I believe it's a franchise record. What led to that?
Well, honestly, the vast majority of them were pretty good, and that's just finding that balance of great shots, open threes versus when you're not making them, get to the paint, create something downhill. So just finding that balance. But overall, I think the vast majority were quality.
When you talk about, I'm not clear what you mean when you say talk about finding the balance between good shots and letting it fly, or what do you mean there?
No, I think a lot of those were great shots as far as they were open, within the confines of what we're trying to do. They were in the right areas, the corners, they were off of some type of action. So those in general, you said, are great. Now, reading the flow of if we don't make, a lion's share of them, then, we got to get to the paint, we got to get to the line, find a way to, get downhill a little bit, put pressure on the rim.
Second quarter was really kind of the only time they got a big gap on you guys. Why do you think you couldn't kind of crawl out of the deficit after?
Well, some of it was those shots. When you miss shots and you're on your heels a little bit, and their two guards put a lot of pressure on you. Schematically trying to, keep them in under wraps, and they just ability to shoot, but then put pressure on you by driving, kicking. I think that got them going a little bit. So, the free throw disparity was one thing, more so in the last probably 10 minutes when we had to foul and extend the game. But in general, trying to get that ball under control was difficult.
Corey had his fourth straight game with at least 13 points. What have you seen from him that's been good so far?
Well, he's been very aggressive, finding those threes. And not to the point where, he's taking bad shots, but I think we've prioritized that for him. And I think he's taken hold of it. He's also doing a really good job of driving the paint, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line a little bit, finishing, a little better, in those small space areas. So we've seen that a little bit all year, but that's been great for his development, and it's like an added dimension, for his game.
At one point tonight, he hit Gafford with a no-look pass to the hoop for a nice dunk. Do you think that off-the-bounce game of Corey's is still a little underrated?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an area that he works on every day, and he'll continue to improve in that area. But he's aware, that teams are going to run him off the line, and he's got to find coverage solutions. Playing downhill is one, getting to the line is another, but being a secondary facilitator off the bounce is probably a third.
And then for the second straight game, Denny had a double-double. What have you liked from him so far?
Just the last two games, his pace in the half court, his cutting and movement. He's made some great plays off the bounce, finding rollers, getting below coverage. He's playing with force, and I think that's important because it's going to help us. It collapses the defense and opens up a lot of things.
What was it like trying to scheme against Trae Young tonight, and how tough was it with how many times he got to the free throw line?
It's difficult every time. He's a master of drawing contact and getting free throws. He's been that his whole career. But he's shifty, so keeping him in front, you're going to have to guard a ton of pick and rolls. We talked about that pregame, that combination between him and 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗪, him and Johnson as well. They seem to have found a little bit of a rhythm. But getting in front of the ball and staying in front, not giving him angles, and then therefore you open up, and now he's initiating contact and get to the rim and or to the line.
What do you think made the difference for them today?
We were in the ball game. I think we just didn't hit shots. We had a lot of great open looks as a collective, and sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. And we gave ourselves a chance. Most of the game was a ball game, but yeah.
It was a franchise record for three-point attempts for the team, and also for you individually. What was it like, I guess, playing that type of game?
That's just how the game was. A lot of times they were just, sacking off. A lot of teams, recently have been just kind of waiting for me to drive into the rim. Just opening it up for myself, really, because I'm confident in my shot. So.
Kuz, it was really just kind of the second quarter that you guys lost. What do you feel like, if anything, you guys were doing well the rest of the game?
Playing with pace, moving the ball, sharing it. I don't know how many assists do we have? 34 assists, right? Yeah, I mean, that's good, right? So, probably could have got more stops. Yeah.
What kind of did change in the second quarter there?
They went on a little run, and we didn't hit shots. That's the story of the game, really. So, we shot. What was that from 3? 37? We shot 37 from 3? Oh, it's not bad. Oh, that was them. 32. Yeah, exactly.
This is Corey's 4th straight game with 13 or more points. What have you seen from him lately, and how has he been progressing?
Just being Corey, coming off shot ready, letting it fly, being ready to shoot, hunting shots. When teams close him out hard, running it, getting to the paint, and ones, like, he's playing this game. He's been playing this game all year. So,
to your point, he had that nice drive and one, and then he also had a play off the bounce where he hit Gafford with a no-look pass for a dunk. Do you think the off-the-bounce game of him is still a little underrated?
It's only underrated because people that don't watch basketball or whatever, probably, but I'm sure the scout reports say, run him off, but, he can do things off the bounce as well. So, I'm not really surprised.
You guys won on Friday. I know you lost today, but made a push toward the end. What have you thought just about the way you guys have been playing in recent weeks compared to the rest of the season?
In recent weeks, okay. We got our whole team back a little bit now. So sometimes I feel like, it's been a little clunky with that. Obviously trying to get DeLon in there and then him having a restriction, Sham back, introducing Muskie a little bit more because we haven't played so much with him this year. So, yeah.
Kuz, you had a season high 38 tonight. What do you think you did right?
Made some shots. Yeah, made 7 threes. Took my time. Took good shots. So,
Bilal tonight finished with 2 points, and I think he hasn't been able to get into double figures. For I think 5 out of the last 6 or something like that. Would you like to see him be more involved in offense, or is it just feeling the game out and picking his spots?
It's just him being aggressive, rebounding and pushing and going, and attacking closeouts, all those type of things that he can do. Like, 17 minutes, 0 for 3. Like, he should be more aggressive. Like, I tell him that all the time, and he'll figure it out, but. Definitely more aggressive for sure.
Do you think it's tough for a rookie to sort of build a consistently aggressive game plan? But I'm sure it helps having veterans like you tell him to be more aggressive. But is it hard as a rookie to kind of have that be part of your consistent game plan?
Yeah, for sure, because it's a mindset, right? Like, you have to, like, as a rookie. I never went through this, but like, I just kind of see, like, you can get down on yourself real quick, but. To have an aggressive mindset, you gotta have it like a little bit, and that's the only way you're gonna have like consistent confidence too. You know what I mean? So, it's something he has to learn and just grasp. So.
It's a franchise record, 53 threes. What's your take on that? Wes kind of talked about finding a balance between letting it fly and understanding when it's not going in, and he thought they were good shots.
Yeah, I think we made a couple early, and I don't think necessarily we took a lot of bad ones, but to Wes's point, I think it's finding that balance of, okay, can we get to this? Can we get the same shot maybe a little later in the shot clock if we pass up on it now, see if we can get a better look, get into an action, and if there's nothing there, can we still get that same shot? I think trying to get to that a little bit more, but at the same time, we were being aggressive. Like, we were driving and kicking, found a lot of catch and shoot 3 opportunities, and I I think those are all shots that, I mean, everybody on this team that was shooting them is confident in. Like, I don't think anybody was missing, threes that they didn't feel confident in, or that the next guy, wasn't confident in as well. So yeah, I think it's just finding that balance. But we make a few more of those open ones, and it's a different kind of narrative. So you got to live with it. Maybe again, figure out, can we pass up on some of those early shot clock ones and get to it, a little bit later in the shot clock if we can't get something better, and just kind of go from there.
What was it like trying to defend Trae Young tonight without fouling?
Yeah, it's tough. He's an all-star, great player, very crafty, high usage. Like, there's, it's ball screen after ball screen, which wears on the defense. They have also different looks, different ways of getting him downhill, different actions. He comes off, sometimes he's coming off flares. They're in pistol action. So they do a great job of kind of mixing it up for him. But yeah, he can score the ball at all three levels. He draws fouls really well. He's a tough cover, man, honestly. And but then that's just scoring the ball. He's also a dynamic playmaker, facilitator. They got Capella rolling for lobs. They got shooting around him. So, it's not an easy night defensively, especially when they got guys making shots. And they got players around them as well. So, it's a tough cover. Just try to make it, show bodies, try to get deflections, try to make him take tougher ones. And yeah.
This was Corey's fourth straight game with at least 13 points. What have you seen from him lately that's allowed him to get going, and how has he been looking to you lately?
He's been looking great, getting downhill, scoring the ball in the paint. I think that's kind of been the difference. He's more comfortable doing that right now, and he works on that. Everyone knows he can shoot. That's part of the reason why him, being able to get downhill is open, because guys are trying to be there on the catch or running them off the line. And he's making them pay for that. So that, having that balance is only going to help him, again, get more open looks, because if you're able to get downhill and score, teams got to guard that as well. They're not just going to continue to run you off the line when you're making them pay for it by scoring in the paint, driving, making plays. So it's been good for us. We need that. We need that scoring spark, off the bench. And, he puts the work in. Again, he's been working on it, focused on us. He's watching film. He's working on different moves, different counters when he does get run off the line. So I don't expect it to change, but we also expect him to continue to knock down, outside shots as well.
Do you think that aspect of his game, the driving, the off-the-dribble plays, is still a little underrated?
I do, just because he's obviously known for shooting. He's a known shooter, three-point specialist, but again, we're seeing the consistency now of him getting downhill, finishing. He's got a couple dunks, things like that. So it's definitely underrated just because of how good of a outside shooter he is. So kind of is what it is. We give him a tough time about it, but we'll take it. And again, we're going to need him to continue to keep that up.
Hey, Tyus. I have your larger season stats in front of me right now, and you shot 53% from three this month in December. Do you feel like you're shooting the best you have from deep in your career right now?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I feel like I'm in a pretty good rhythm right now. Shooting the ball, continue to be more familiar with the system, and just building off of that. I know I probably sound repetitive, continue to say that, but that's just the honest truth. Just week in, week out, the more games I'm getting under my belt, the more I'm just becoming more familiar with the system, knowing where my spots are, more familiar with the guys. It's still, in the grand scheme of things, early chemistry-wise. So we're still continuing to build and grow in that aspect. So yeah, just getting more familiar. We're in the thick of it now. So your game legs are under you now. You're in a good rhythm. So just trying to build off of that. Then you got, nights like tonight where, I'm 3 for 7 from three, but I felt like all 4 misses, I got to make those. You know what I mean? So that's just the standard I hold myself to. Still feel like there's room for improvement and plan on continuing to get better.